The Museum of the Estonian War of Independence was founded on the 19th of January 1919 with Order of the Day No. 5 of the Commander-in-Chief of the Estonian Armed Forces, Johan Laidoner. At that time, fierce battles continued to be fought on the front, and the future of the Republic of Estonia had yet to be decided. The idea to create a museum came from the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces, future Major General, also the Minister of War and Lord Mayor of Tallinn, Jaan Soots. In February 1919 he published in a newspaper an article titled The Estonian War of Independence Museum. Soots considered it necessary to collect, systematize and analyze all the weapons, flags, documents, newspapers, books and other items connected to the war. In addition to the military personnel, the call to send items and photos to Pagari Street 1, Room 70 Tallinn, was sent out to the local authorities, photographers and the people of Estonia. The organizer and later head of the museum was Private Taavet Poska from the 6th Infantry Regiment. During the War of Independence, Poska worked as a photographer. In 1921, some rooms on the first floor of the Officers' Casino building were given to the use of the museum. The materials received by the museum up until that time had been systematized by antiquities collector and artist August Polst. Poska began working immediately, with the first exhibition opening on the 24th of February 1922. The High Command of the Estonian Army was very serious about collecting material for the museum. A directive was issued which forbid the destruction of anything in military units before the head of the museum had examined the objects. In 1930, the Museum of the Estonian War of Independence was renamed the Estonian War Museum. In 1940, there were about 10,000 items in the museum's collection, of which a couple of thousand were part of the permanent exhibition, including numerous weapons, flags acquired as trophies from the Red Army units, mannequins dressed in War of Independence era uniforms, military maps, and the interior furnishings of the office of the Commander-in-Chief during the war. After the occupation of Estonia in the summer of 1940, the War Museum had to move out of its rooms. At first, the assets were moved to Goble, to the so-called Red Barracks. Soon after, the assets were taken back to the Old Town, to the Keek in the Cock Tower. On the 29th of December 1940, the People's Commissar of Education of the ESSR, Nigol Andresen, ordered the closing of the museum as of the 1st of January 1941. The assets were to be turned over to the History and Revolution Museum. When the assets which had been stored in Keek in the Cock were reviewed in September 1941, it was discovered that the rooms had been broken into. About 1/3 of the assets of the War Museum were missing, including most of the weapons and the complete set of the Order of the Cross of Liberty. During the retreat of the German forces in 1944, a large number of weapons were left behind in Tallinn. The staff of the museum tried to collect them to set up an exhibition. Nevertheless, a collection of weapons presented a good excuse for the Soviet secret police to execute a clean-up. 14 members of the staff, including Taavet Poska, were arrested. The collected weapons were confiscated. Currently, the museum is located in the heart of Viimsi Manor, which had been given as a reward to Johan Laidoner in 1923. After World War II, the manor buildings were used by the Soviet Navy. A radio intelligence center was located here. On the 19th of July 1993, on the 53rd anniversary of his deportation, a memorial day for General Laidoner was celebrated at the manor. An exhibition about Laidoner, based on materials of the State Archives, was held in the manor house. This served as the inspiration for the idea that the exhibition could become a permanent exhibit in the future. On the 1st of March 2001, by directive of the Minister of Defence, the General Laidoner Museum became a state museum, with its official name being the Laidoner Museum. In March 2006, the museum was renamed the Estonian War Museum, General Laidoner Museum. The museum is the legal successor of the Estonian War Museum founded in 1919. Currently, the museum houses 100,000 items. The museum has become a centre of research for the contemporary history of warfare, with an arsenal that includes a permanent exhibition as well as the organisation of temporary thematic exhibitions, the hosting of various public events, publishing of war-related materials and creation of video materials, offering of consultation services, and much more. The museum has become a popular meeting place for people involved with the past, present and future of the history of warfare. Also, many cooperation agreements have been concluded with organisations in the same field. Nevertheless, it is clear that the current location is unsuitable for the storing of the museum's collection of heavy equipment. One possible solution, in addition to the construction of an entirely new building, is to utilise the seaside area of Northern Tallinn. The War Museum has set its sights on the territory of the Battery Sea Fortress. By cooperating with other interested parties, the seaplane harbour and territory of the Battery Sea Fortress can be developed into a modern war, sea and technical history theme park.